let's start back off with a summary. So, you guys just went to the Festival of Journeys, where you went to several different tents, and experienced the things that the festival had to offer. Um, the next morning, you went and spoke with the emperor of the country of Struman, but the city of Yanabe, primarily. And he said he would be glad to accept the contract with Naffisea and the country of Everhold, but he would accept the terms as written. He just had a task that he wanted you guys to complete for him because he didn't have the guard to spare to send out to help with this issue. In the village of Golden Moon. You guys arrived in the village, and the first thing you noticed was that everyone was acting very strange. Nobody would, like, anybody who met you, like, directly looking at you, would turn and move the other way. Not like turn and run, but they would keep their same walking pace and just turn a different direction and go. You guys met the mayor, Eliza Thornfield, and you guys talked to her for a while. She told you kind of what was going on. She told you there were a couple murders that had happened, and they've done their best to preserve the crime scenes exactly as they were when they found them. And she led you to, I think, the first one. I don't think you guys made it to the second crime scene yet. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not yet. We haven't.
I think that's where you
Yeah, I
guys
don't
were
remember the
headed.
second crime scene.
You went and saw the first one that happened, and you guys were headed to the most recent one. No, you guys did go to the most recent one, because it was the little girl.
We saw the farmer's wife.
I remember telling you all about the little girl.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I swear I did. Whatever.
Because I wrote down all the info on the wife.
Okay. So.
Well, now we know it's a little girl, guys. So check that one off.
Sorry. Pulling up different notes. So, that would have ended us off at you guys were heading to go to the most recent crime scene. I don't remember the voice I did for the mayor, but I believe you guys asked to see the most recent killing.
Yes.
Anybody remember?
I'm pretty sure I remember that at the very end.
So go to the most recent one.
Yes.
So the mayor leads you guys back to the town square, where you guys first started seeing all the people as you first entered the village. Off kind of to the side of that area you guys first entered into, like when you first walked into town, the mayor's office was essentially like straight ahead for you. Off to the right, it looks like there's a collection of shops, but the windows have been kind of boarded up. The doors are closed. And still, there's really not a whole lot of movement going on in the street. But in the middle of this little area between all the shops, there's like a little cobblestone path. But in the middle of that is a well. There's a well kind of in the middle of that little area. And lying next to the well is a young girl.
Golly.
She's human, maybe 10 or 12 years old. She's maybe 10 or 12 years old.
Well, does she got the same markings as the other victim did?
Yes.
Can I roll to investigate?
She has the
The
same she has the same carving in her forehead, and it's like a moon-shaped carving like in the middle of their forehead, and pressed into it is like a little white gem moon.
Can I investigate the surrounding area?
Of course.
Roll invest.
What are you looking for specifically?
A trail of any sort.
There.
I got a 17.
Okay. So yeah, there's a set of small footprints and large animal tracks leading up to where she is. But there are no footprints leading away from the body.
Can I see where those prints came from?
So it looks like the footprints are leading just from further into the village. You'd have to follow them to see exactly where they go.
Can I fold?
You want to follow them?
Yes. Rolled 5 dice.
So you follow them a pretty good ways. It leads you into it leads you out of where like the shops and stuff are and further into where the houses are. It goes between a couple houses and then just into the woods. Once they get into the woods, the brush is so thick you can't find them.
No, it is in the woods. Know that for sure.
I'm going to turn my light on real quick from my bed, seeing the door. But I'm still here.
You would roll another investigation for me.
Another 17.
Okay. So yeah, you would notice that the tracks after they come out of the woods, it's they're kind of just steps. They might even be like sneakier steps. But as soon as they get past that house and turn towards where you found the body, um, the steps get more and more separated, like whatever it was sped up. And there's only one set of animal tracks coming from the woods, but where the steps start to speed up, that's where the second set of footprints appear, the very small footprints, and they're almost certainly the little girl's footprints, like the small footprints, not the animal track.
Do you think we could ask any witnesses or anyone living in the houses if they heard this too? Because I would imagine running is pretty loud. And she must have called for help. Maybe? Gonna ask the mayor that.
Why, of course you can ask the villagers. If they'll answer, I mean,
Can you knock for me? It's gonna slam the door in my face. My very tree-like face.
I mean, I guess as long as the rest of you promise not to touch anything in the crime scene while I step off.
And I just like push them a little bit.
Star looks side to side, eyeing little trinkets on the ground.
Star.
Please don't touch the crime scene.
Person Star. Do you want to find more stuff? If we behave ourselves, we'll find more stuff.
But if I pick up stuff now, then I'll have it now and not later.
But what if we behave and then we find treasures when we inevitably fight a battle?
You make a compelling argument.
Roll persuasion.
So, are you gonna step over to the house and show the mayor which one?
Yes. Does anyone else want to hit it?
I mean, I don't. I fear leaving Finn and Styre to their own devices.
What was that thing we did it like before? It was like, you want to do stupid stuff? I think the joke was like Family Guy cut off.
Oh, it's like
Yeah.
burning building or something.
Yeah, like, you want to do stupid stuff?
Boy, would I.
No. I guess I'll head over to the house.
I'll stay with these two to keep them in check.
No! Oh, he wasn't going over there anyway.
All in favor of continuing on until Carson rejoins?
I
All opposed?
okay. Oh, he's back anyway. Okay. I'm gonna head over to the mayor.
Okay, so the mayor follows you over to the house you were trying to talk to.
I want to talk to the person who's in the
Can you hear
house
me?
that's right. Yes,
Okay,
that's right by.
So the tracks went in between two houses.
I'm doing the left side of the tracks. Wait now. So is it just running straight through, or does it run in front of another?
So, like, there's a house here, and a house here. The track goes up this way and curves that way.
I want to talk to the person who had it curve in front of there.
Okay, so the house that's here, the path went in
In
front
front
of.
of.
Okay. So, are you just like standing off the porch while the mayor goes up and knocks on the door, or are you kind of crouched on the front porch?
I'm gonna crouch so I'm not as scary.
You're crouching on the front porch?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, she walks up, kind of knocks on the door. There's silence. There's silence for a couple seconds after she knocks, and she reaches up to knock again. As she does, the door kind of like cracks open, and you can see probably like from here up of a face. They look old. It's most likely human. They just kind of peek out of the door, and then they shut the door.
Oh. But the mayor was there.
Wow.
You just shut the door in the mayor's face.
As like after he shuts the door, the mayor walks, kind of gets a little bit closer to the door, knocks another time, waits for the door to crack open again, and when it does, she's like, "Hey, can you speak to us about what you might have heard when the most recent murder occurred?" And you hear kind of like a you hear like a
Oh, wow.
and he pulls the door open. What do you want this time, Mayor? I done told you everything you asked me for. You got some more questions? Standing in the doorway, who you assumed was human. This is like half orc. He looks a little older. He's got like salt and pepper beard, salt and pepper hair. But he doesn't have like the greenish hues of regular orcs. He's got just normal human skin tones. He's not like white, but he's not like tan either.
You can say olive.
Well, it's not really olive. But yeah, he's pretty heavy set. He's got a fairly large gut. He's probably about 6'2" in there. And he's just staring at the mayor, who turns and looks up at you. Well, I'm waiting.
I'm writing notes down. I'm sorry. Now I'm nervous. Okay. I just wanted to ask if you maybe heard anything weird when this, because according to the footprints, this thing ran in front of your house. So just want to know if you saw anything or heard anything at all.
Well, Like I told the mayor the other day, when she came and asked me this question the first time, I was sitting in my chair, eating some of my beans. And then all of a sudden, there was a ruckus outside. Sounded like maybe a wild dog or something. And then there was this girl screaming, and sounded like her and whatever that was took off into town. But I've lived out here most of my life, and I know it's probably not a best idea to be checking the windows when you hear sounds like that. So I just stayed in my chair eating my beans.
Laying in your chair?
He turns around, kind of pushes the door open, and points. He points further into the house. Are you gonna try to look at what he's pointing at?
Yes.
You look inside, and it's almost like it's like the medieval equivalent of a lazy boy. It's covered in stains. There's like the fabric's kind of ripped up a little bit, and it looks like dude's probably owned that chair for most of his life. Like there's a depression in the chair where you can tell that's where he sits every time he sits down in this chair.
It's just gonna like be very confused. Just be like, how does one not protect the youth of their village?
Is that in his head? Or do you say that out loud? Can you say that out loud?
Chick would choose not to. And if they did accidentally somehow say that in the person's head, I'm gonna roll. Because I want to use the excuse of they're just shocked. Rolled a 7. So I assume that would have been an accidental say it in their head.
Yes.
Nice.
Just the holy shit. This guy really said he heard a wild beast, possibly a dog, outside. Then a child scream and take off running with the dog following into town. And didn't care. Just that feeling overwhelms you and you revert back to what you're used to and say it into his head.
Uh-oh.
It already wasn't like in me.
As he's like staring at you, he just gives you this look of like, what the fuck just happened? What in the world was that?
Are you just saying it in his head, or can we all hear it?
How far away would they be?
They're probably like 40, 50 feet.
Even if I could, if I wanted to, you guys were too far away.
I see.
But
Yeah, like it was a good walk.
Twig would probably just direct it at him and the mayor.
Just out of habit. He doesn't even answer the question. He just like starts shaking his head after giving you that weird look.
That's Twig's purpose. Natural purpose is protecting youth. So, but Twig has like a little notebook. He's writing it down. Like, anything else you want to add? Did you know the girl? Because clearly you didn't see anything. care to get up out of your chair. So, do you know the girl?
I don't like your accusatory tone when you whisper things into my head.
I can speak broken English to you in person, but I don't think you'd like the voice that would come out. It's not as smooth.
Appealing as you think.
Well, just to get you off my back and my front porch. Yes, I did know young Amelia.
His porch is like caving in.
You can see the porch is very obviously bowing where Twig is. Nah, you're not that heavy. But he's just like, yeah, I knew her. She lives just a couple houses down. She is always playing around in my front yard.
Awesome.
You can see that from the placement of this house, there really isn't a front yard. It's just the little like cobblestone street is just very wide. But his house is right there on the path. Like if you step off of his front porch steps, there isn't any grass or anything. There isn't like grass or anything between his front porch and the path. You would assume that most everybody would call this their front yard.
All right.
But yeah, as soon as he answers that, he turns around, walks in the house, shuts the door.
Has the mayor got anything to say about that?
He turns and looks at you and is like, I'm so sorry. He's very rude. But he used to live in the woods outside of town, but he realized that it might be safer if he went ahead and moved in. But he's not quite like the rest of us.
Just like yeah. What about the girl's parents?
Oh, they were so distraught from the accident, they left town. They packed up all their stuff and were gone by morning.
Can we look at their house?
Of course.
Of course. Can I go grab my mates?
I guess you go back over to everybody.
Yeah. So we can all collectively go to Amelia's parents' house and see if they have anything in there that might be pretty interesting to look at. Question directed at all of you.
Sorry,
Sounds like a plan.
can you say that one more time, please?
We can all head over to the girl's parents' house because they fled town after she died. Suspiciously, they fled town after she died.
All right, works for me.
We can all go look in there and see if there's anything interesting.
I mean, to be fair, this wouldn't be a murder mystery if not everything was suspicious.
Yeah, I just dealt with the rudest dude. It's like not telling the mayor that only Finn, Steyer, and yeah.
Make sure I'm unmuted. Okay.
This guy said he sat in his chair and ate beans. as he heard a little girl die.
I really wanted to ask him what type of beans they were.
What kind of beans?
You just go knock up to his door, like, what kind of beans were you eating?
What kind of beans are there? We got
Just so I could insult him on which beans and what beans to eat, but
Hey,
You
Anna,
eat.
I held
Yeah.
on to myself.
straight up, just like so. You heard a girl dying while eating beans. Just to top it off, not even the high quality beans. You got some issues, boy.
Exactly. I mean, the girl's not getting any better. He's not giving us any more information.
Okay, what were you gonna ask me?
so on. Do you think that Twig would be able to guess what kind of bean it was from the smell?
Maybe they are a. Oh,
So,
are we still connected?
yeah.
Okay.
The stream's still up and everything.
Maybe they are a scavenger. If we disconnect, you guys know why. Probably could.
So, roll. Roll nature.
Insight. Oh, I got a 10.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Now roll perception.
Oh, perception. $18.
By your best guess, dude was eating pinto beans.
Pinto beans. The dude was eating.
What kind of bean?
I'm gonna look at Sire and it's like,
Those
Look
are
at
the
that.
healthiest ones, though.
I'm gonna look at Sire and say he was eating just a bowl of pinto beans. My family does that.
My mom does.
I'm just gonna tell Sire he was eating a bowl of pinto beans.
I give this just kind of squinty-eyed, terrible look. Not pleased with that response.
Pinto beans? It's the worst bean. Oh my! Why just eating pinto beans?
Emily, when you're a poor Spanish person, that's why.
Okay, that's fair.
That's you would not believe how many times that has been dinner. Just a big thing of pinto beans.
Now, if he had said
Question for
garbanzo, that would have led to a conversation.
When you were following the path, would Twig have followed the path all the way to the edge of the woods?
Most likely, probably would have peered into the woods.
So they would have seen behind his house?
Yes.
Yeah, he has a pinto bean field out back.
Wow.
You grow pinto beans.
So that's why.
He probably doesn't. His house probably doesn't smell very great. Dude's only eating beans.
Oh yeah, with that 18 perception roll, it probably wasn't the fact of your disgust for him not going to see what was happening to the little girl. It was probably the distinct, very strong smell of bean that was throwing you off.
Okay, well let's all head to the parents' house instead.